The national anthems of United States of America and Islamic Republic of Pakistan will be played now. I now request Ambassador of Pakistan, His Excellency Jalil Abbas Jilani, to deliver the welcome speech. His Excellency Jalil Abbas Jilani.
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen, Excellencies, honorable members of the Congress. It gives me great pleasure to welcome you to the Embassy of Pakistan to commemorate the 75th anniversary of the adoption of Pakistan Resolution. This day reminds us of the immense sacrifices rendered by the Muslims of the subcontinent under the leadership of Quaid-e-Azam Muhammad Ali Jinnah, the founder of the nation, to secure a separate homeland where they could live in peace and fashion their lives in accordance with their beliefs and ideals. We are honored by the presence of senior US officials, diplomatic corps, US business, private sector, and think tanks representatives, as well as members of Pakistani American community, for joining us to celebrate Pakistan's National Day. I am particularly delighted to recognize the presence of my very dear friend, a good friend of Pakistan, Under Secretary of State, Patrick Kennedy, and other senior officials from the US government. I am also delighted to have my very dear friend and my counterpart in Islamabad, Ambassador Rick Olson. I saw him somewhere around, and Rick, he is over there. Thank you, Rick, for making it. I know that you must still be jet lagged, but despite that, you were able to make it. Thank you so much. Ladies and gentlemen, internally, this past year has been particularly significant and consequential period for Pakistan. On the economic front, growth started to pick up momentum with increasing foreign exchange reserves, declining inflation, rising investors' confidence, and improved energy situation. On the security side, as a result of government's relentless efforts, including military operations in North Waziristan and simultaneous operations in the rest of the country, the overall security situation in Pakistan has improved tremendously. Feeling the pressure and out of desperation, the terrorist and extremist elements are now hitting at weak and vulnerable targets. The gruesome Peshawar attack resulted in the brutal killing of 146 school children, or the recent church attacks in Lahore are stark reminders of the vicious and desperate enemy that we confront in Pakistan. But let me assure you that we are undeterred. We have the resolve and we remain determined to continue with the steps and measures underway as part of our national action plan to combat both extremism and terrorism. Distinguished guests, now for over 3 years, I've had the honor and privilege of working directly and looking after this very, very important relationship between our two countries, Pakistan and the United States of America, first as Foreign Secretary and now as the Ambassador of Pakistan to the United States of America. I am happy to report that during the past 3 years, I have seen our bilateral relationship gain greater strength, understanding, and momentum. The continued high-level exchanges between our two countries, including the successful official visit of the Prime Minister of Pakistan, Mr. Mohammad Nawaz Sharif, convening of the 2 rounds of ministerial review of the strategic dialogue, one in DC and the other in Islamabad, led by advisor to the Prime Minister on National Security and Foreign Affairs, Mr. Sartaj Aziz, and Secretary Kerry, testify to the growing trust and deepening cooperation between our two countries. The strategic dialogue, as many of you know, is an important framework between our two countries to review cooperation on the whole range of issues, including economy and trade, energy, counterterrorism, defense, and nuclear non-proliferation and strategic stability. Happily, the strategic dialogue has moved from the planning and agenda-setting stage to implementation phase over the last year. We have been able to develop convergences on a range of international and regional issues, including strategic stability and regional security. The joint convening of the conference on the Amir Pasha Dam in Washington in October last year to mobilize private sector investment for a major hydropower and water storage project in Pakistan, the US support to the Dasu hydroelectric power project, and the launch of the first ever Pakistan-US Business Opportunities Week about 2 weeks ago in Islamabad, attended by around 150 US businessmen, and US Commerce Secretary Penny Pritzker point to the important gains made in deepening economic cooperation between our two countries. And it is also a reflection of the growing trust by the international community in investment opportunities in Pakistan, and also about the better law and order environment in the country. Ladies and gentlemen, advancing peace, securing stability, combating terrorism, promoting freedom and democracy, investing in economic development and prosperity, and confronting the global threats posed by violent extremism in the broader region are among the vital areas where Pakistan and the US have shared interests. Thankfully, we have made important strides over the past year in jointly pursuing these shared goals and objectives. Pakistan remains committed to maintaining this positive energy and momentum in the bilateral relationship and taking our cooperation to a new and higher level in the future. We have no doubt that greater engagement, dialogue, and trust building also underpins Pakistan's policy approach in the region. Guided by the Prime Minister's vision of a peaceful and stable neighborhood, Pakistan has reached out to its neighbors for securing peace and stability, as well as greater economic integration in the region. To our west, there is certainly a strong momentum in bilateral contacts with Afghanistan. We are also increasing the breadth of this engagement. Our leadership is regularly in touch, and our institutions are better connected today than ever before. We are confident that we are laying down a strong and enduring foundation of our cooperation with Afghanistan. To our east, we are also hopeful that India would reciprocate Pakistan's desire to engage with a view to confronting the common challenges that we face and resolving all disputes, including Jammu and Kashmir. Pakistan strongly believes that the key to a vibrant and prosperous South Asia lies in resolving outstanding disputes through dialogue and in creating regional equities built around common concerns and priorities. The dividends for larger and economically better performing economies will be even higher when we are better connected than growing in isolation. Ladies and gentlemen, I would also like to take this opportunity to acknowledge and appreciate the important role being played by the Pakistani American community in deepening understanding and cooperation between the US and Pakistan. They remain a key pillar of strength and stability for this relationship. In conclusion, let me reiterate that Pakistan and the US will continue to cooperate on all issues of mutual interest to help promote peace, security, and prosperity in the region. Thank you so much once again. May I now invite Under Secretary of State Patrick Kennedy for his remarks. Thank you so much.
Ambassador Gilani, for your introduction and your kind invitation to join you on this very, very important day. You have been an excellent emissary here in Washington. On behalf of Secretary Kerry and all my colleagues at the State Department, I would like to thank you for your efforts to deepen relations between our two countries. I would like to recognize our distinguished guests, including members of Congress and others. I'd also like to thank Rick Olson for, as you noted, taking the red eye across half the world, as well as Special Representative Feldman for their dedication and leadership. Ambassador Feldman and Ambassador Olson, together with Ambassador Gilani, have brought tremendous energy and creativity to the U.S.-Pakistan partnership, and it is that partnership that I would have glad to speak about this evening. As Secretary Kerry said during the last Strategic Dialogue Ministerial in Islamabad, this relationship is just not about threats we both face, but is also about building a deeper, broader, and more long-term engagement between the people of Pakistan and the people of the United States. There's really no way to overstate the importance of our cooperation or the potential, frankly, to improve the security and prosperity of our citizens through actions that are based on mutual respect and mutual interest. As a demonstration of our focus on improving prosperity and those economic and commercial ties that Ambassadors Feldman, Olson, and Gilani have worked to expand, Secretary of Commerce Penny Pritzker was most recently at Islamabad, as the ambassador has noted, for the first ever U.S.-Pakistan Economic Partnership and the third U.S.-Pakistan Business Opportunities Conference, and the first to take place in Pakistan. Quite frankly, the turnout at the Business Opportunities Conference exceeded even our most optimistic expectations. Much credit for this is due to the work of Ambassador Gilani and his team, but also to the many Pakistanis and Americans who believe in the importance and the opportunities of ties between our two economies, societies, and cultures. Today celebrates the anniversary of the Lahore Resolution. 75 years ago, with hopes for a brighter future, the founders of Pakistan passed that revolution and paved the way for this new nation's independence. The resolution did more than just set forth the principles of self-government. It also established essential protections for the freedoms of all faiths and the rights of all minorities, quoting, that we are all citizens and equal citizens of one state. And today we come together to celebrate those principles, to honor them, and to reiterate our commitment to upholding them even when, and especially when, it is tough to do so. It is these values that unite our nations and form the foundation for close cooperation to reduce the causes and forces of extremism, to bolster our economies, to expand access to energy, and to give all children the opportunity to reach their full potential. As we work together to promote peace and advance opportunities, we are very fortunate to have not only great American and Pakistani diplomats at our side, but also some of the world's most talented artists and musicians. Just this past week, the United States welcomed 6 incredible Pakistani bands to Austin, Texas, my mother's home state, for the South by Southwest Music Festival. They ate their first tacos, played to standing room only crowds, and wrote probably the first ever Pakistani Texan melodies that the world has ever heard. It was a showcase that I love to see, and one that I know only deepened the connection between the peoples of our nations. On behalf of Secretary Kerry and the people of the United States of America, I am honored to offer you our best wishes on this historic day. We look forward to strengthening our friendship in the years to come. Thank you very much.
I now invite Secretary of State of Maryland, Honorable John Warren-Smith, to read the message of Governor of Maryland for this occasion. Honorable John Warren-Smith.
Thank you very much and good evening, everyone. It's a delight to be here to celebrate this National Day, and I'd like to read this proclamation from the state of Maryland. Governor of the state of Maryland to Ambassador Jelani and Mrs. Jelani, greetings. Be it known that on behalf of the citizens of this state, in recognition of a special tribute to celebrate the National Day of the Islamic Republic of Pakistan, congratulations and best wishes for a rewarding and memorable day. And as the people of Maryland join together in honoring the great respect and admiration our great country share, we are pleased to confer upon you this governor's citation, the 23rd day of March, 2015, and signed by the governor and the lieutenant governor and myself as Secretary of State. So congratulations. Thank you very much.